What if death doesn't arrive silently? What if, long before it happens, someone already knows? In the wild, death is everywhere. Yet some animals don't react to it randomly. They pause. They change. They behave differently before anything happens. Across nature, animals have shown behaviors so precise, so consistent, that scientists still struggle to explain them. They don't predict storms. They don't sense illness. They sense the end, and sometimes, they act on it. Humans rely on machines to detect death. Heart monitors, brain scans, medical data. Animals don't. No monitors, no data, no warnings. Yet again and again, animals behave differently when death is close. They gather. They withdraw. They mourn. This creates an uncomfortable question. Is it instinct, chemical signals, or something deeper we don't yet understand? Because reacting to death is one thing, but recognizing it before it arrives is something else entirely. Let's begin with the most studied case. Elephants don't treat death as disappearance. They treat it as an event. When an elephant dies, others return to the body. They touch the bones, stroke the skull, stand silently for hours, sometimes days. They've been seen revisiting the same remains years later. Even more disturbing? Elephants often behave differently before death occurs. They slow down, separate from the herd, and others seem to know, following, guarding, waiting. There's no obvious signal, yet the herd prepares. In hospitals and homes, dogs have done something impossible. They choose. Certain dogs repeatedly lie beside patients who will die within hours. They ignore others. No training, no cues. Medical staff tested this. Time after time, the dog was right. Some believe dogs detect chemical changes in the body, subtle shifts in scent as organs begin shutting down. But here's the question science can't answer. Why do they stay? Why don't they panic? Why do they comfort? Not all animals respond with care. Some respond with distance. Many bird species will suddenly isolate a member that is close to death. They stop feeding it, stop calling to it, stop acknowledging it. To us, it looks cruel. In nature, it's survival. But the timing is exact. Not sickness, not injury. The moment death becomes inevitable, the flock knows and moves on. Ants don't wait for death. When an ant is near the end, it releases a chemical signal. Other ants detect it immediately. They carry the ant away from the colony, sometimes before it dies. This prevents disease, protects the hive. The ant doesn't resist, as if it understands its role is over. A silent agreement, a biological farewell. Octopuses are among the most intelligent animals on Earth. They solve puzzles, recognize humans, escape enclosures. But after reproduction, something changes. They stop eating, hide away, begin to decay while still alive. No confusion, no fight. It's not sickness. It's awareness written into biology. The octopus doesn't try to survive. It prepares to end. Scientists suggest possibilities. Chemical changes, hormonal shifts, magnetic or electrical signals, evolutionary programming. But none explain everything, especially grief, especially waiting, especially choice. Animals don't fear death like humans do. They respond to it, calmly, directly, without denial. Maybe awareness doesn't require language. Maybe understanding doesn't require thought. Humans believe we're the most aware species. But animals notice what we miss. They don't argue with death. They don't pretend it isn't coming. They recognize it, accept it, and act accordingly. Perhaps the most disturbing question isn't how animals know. It's this: what else do they understand that we don't? If nature unsettles you, subscribe to UltraFactX Studio, where reality is darker than fiction.